this one's gonna be a doozy. So, as many of you know, because most of you who watch my videos know me personally, I'm a senior in high school and soon to be an adult. So that means doing taxes and buying homes and paying mortgages and all that jazz. This got me thinking back on little lad Jackson's childhood and brought up the question, what are my favorite video games of all time? Now, I started my video game journey on the PS2 playing LEGO Indiana Jones, and later the Wii playing games like Super Mario Bros., LEGO Lord of the Rings, Mario Kart, and Wii Sports. Then, when I got a little older, my mind was opened up to the magic of the PS3, playing games like Arkham Origins, Injustice, and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Zombies with my brother and sister. Yeah! But most of my life has been on the PS4 era of games, and for the past year and a half, the PS5. So as I go through my favorites, keep in mind that these are consoles that I had access to, and I'm sorry to say, but there are going to be no PS2 and Wii games on here, even as amazing as many of those games are. Which also brings up the other important point. The games on my list are not the best games ever made. They're just my personal favorites. Hell, I have The Sims 4 in my honorable mentions, and that game runs like shit and will never not be buggy.
Oh shit.
So if you don't see your favorite game on here, please know that I bet it's great. It's just not on my list. I had an incredibly difficult time narrowing down my favorite games into a list of 10. Here's the list I started with, and I had to narrow it down to just 10. So if you see your favorite game on this list, know that I adore that game. This video also will contain character spoilers for the games Baldur's Gate 3, Dragon Age Inquisition, and The Witcher 3, as well as some locations and bosses in Elden Ring and Bloodborne. So if you don't want those spoiled, then I recommend skipping when I talk about those games. I also haven't made many videos like this, so I'm sorry if it's not the best, but I hope you enjoy, and with all that mumbo jumbo out of the way, let's get started with my honorable mentions. First, we have Cyberpunk 2077. Look, I fucking love this game. I think it's one of the best games I've ever played, and I've never been so immersed in a city than Night City. I truly feel as I'm in that world, and the characters feel like a family. It's a truly incredible game, so please play it if you haven't gotten the chance. And another honorable mention is LEGO Worlds, and the only reason I'm really talking about this is because of the soundtrack. It is actually incredible. Just listen to this. I loved playing this game and building and discovering cities and towns. The game itself is really good, but not great, but the soundtrack elevates this from an average LEGO game to a great one. This game is so fun, a little buggy, but so fun. And to quickly list some of my other honorable mentions that just barely didn't make it in the list are the Hitman World of Assassins trilogy, or Assassinations, God of War, sorry Ethan, Uncharted 4 and the entire Uncharted series, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Mass Effect 2, Spider-Man PS4, Persona 4 Golden, The Sims 4, Fallout 3 and 4, LEGO Batman 2, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Until Dawn. Okay, now on to the actual list, starting at number 10. If you are not familiar with this game or the Dragon Age series, it is created by the studio BioWare that made the Mass Effect series. Now, I think Mass Effect 2 and honestly all of the Mass Effect trilogy is better than Dragon Age Inquisition, but the game invested me in the world more than the other BioWare series. It made me search up podcasts and video essays on the lore of the world and truly made me feel immersed. This game was also the first game where I made the character that I am inspired by in almost every fantasy game I play, the elf Eowyn. Since this game, I have used this character baseline in my D&D, Baldur's Gate 3, and one of my many Skyrim characters. This game made me feel like my custom character was truly a person and part of this world. While the main story itself is pretty standard, what elevates this story is the Trespasser DLC. What is basically an epilogue expansion, you meet up with all of your companions, and the story culminates with one of the main characters and the person my character chose to romance because I knew that this was going to happen, being set up as the main villain of the next game, Dragon Age Dreadwolf, which is set to release sometime this year. That is such a creative and smart idea that makes me so excited for the next game. The companions in this game are also incredibly written with great banter between each other, and the worlds are filled with immense detail, and don't even get me started on the soundtrack. This is one of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time. It is absolutely beautiful, and I would just sit there and listen to the main menu music every time I played this game and turned it on. It was so peaceful, and just the swell of everything. It's incredible. The main flaw with the game is, and the reason why it's at the bottom of my list, is the main story is relatively standard and the gameplay can get incredibly repetitive, making it really difficult for multiple playthroughs. But if you haven't checked this one out, I highly recommend it, and if you're into space, please check out the Mass Effect trilogy. Skip Andromeda, which is honestly better than this game, but this one just has a special place in my heart. Now on to number 9.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Alright, so I love Skyrim with all of my heart and soul. The incredible worlds, the music, the lore, the mods, the bugs. Holy shit, there are so many bugs. Guys, as much as I and many others love Skyrim, it is a very flawed game. I think mechanically it holds up well to modern standards, and I think the art style has a timeless beauty to it, but the combat and quests are incredibly outdated. I hate to say this, but the combat in Skyrim is kind of dog shit. But what makes it fun is seeing my character have the sword sheathed and then whip it out. And attack an enemy. It adds a level of immersion that I adore and wish was in more modern Bethesda games. The quests are very basic and the characters aren't very compelling or interesting either. The main exception to this is Serana in the Dawnguard DLC. She is such an incredibly written character and Laura Bailey adds so much life to her. One thing that I do think is brilliant about this game is its world. Skyrim is gorgeous, and walking around in the snowy mountains at night with the beautiful sky and the swell of French horns surrounding you is truly an unmatched experience. Speaking of French horns, the music of Skyrim is fucking incredible. Everyone likes the Skyrim soundtrack, even those who don't play video games. I hear people who've never picked up a controller listen to the music and talk about how great it is. It truly is some of the best music in a video game you'll ever hear. Now, you may be wondering, if you talked all about the things wrong with this game, why is it in your top 10? Great question, random viewer. This is the first RPG I ever played, and it got me into my favorite genre of gaming. I will never forget the night I stayed up till 2 in the morning at my dad's house, playing the Dawnguard DLC for the first time, and that magical feeling I felt. Another great thing about Skyrim is its mods. The modding community is incredible in the things they create, but also a little scary. I haven't been able to play many games on PC because I don't have a gaming PC, and the newest game I can run on it is Skyrim from 2011. But even though the game ran like crap on my rinky-dink PC, the experience with mods was one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. If you are interested in starting RPGs, please check out Skyrim if you haven't already. I promise it will be an experience you will never forget. At number 8, we have Arkham Knight. While I personally like the story and soundtrack of City better, I have more of an emotional attachment to Arkham Knight. I remember how excited my brother was when he first got the Arkham games on the PS3 and played them. Then, when Arkham Knight was announced, we begged our dad for a PS4 to play it. When my brother finally got his hands on the game and I sat and watched him play, the Batman fan I am today was born. I had seen some of the animated series before then and had loved Batman all my life, but this game sparked my obsession and love for the character. When I finally got to play, I was enthralled by Batman and the Joker's dynamic. Both Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are my definitive Batman and Joker, and that's all thanks to this game. This game made me the nerd I am today and is the reason for all these bad Batman movies on the channel. This game is also beautiful to look at and honestly still holds up really well with today's standards. No superhero game has been able to match the beauty of the Arkham games, though Spider-Man is super close. The story of the game is a little predictable at times, but if you care for the character of Batman, it gives a fantastic representation of who the character is. If you are even the tiniest bit interested in Batman or video games, I cannot recommend enough the Arkham trilogy and especially Arkham Knight.
To the town of our free rode a stranger one fine day.
Fallout New Vegas is debatably one of, if not the best role-playing games of all time. The amount of choice you have is astounding, and the world around you truly adapts to your choices. Each faction you can join is so distinct with compelling writing and fascinating beliefs. For example, the Legion, which are basically slavers and believe in the ideas of ancient Rome, have such an extreme and horrific beliefs, but their rule keeps people loyal. The NCR, which is basically a US military, is stuck to using the old ways from before the bombs fell, but their methods aren't perfect and corruption is built from within the system. The beauty of the game is there is no one morally correct choice. Each decision you make will hurt someone else, and it is up to the player to decide what is the right thing to do based on their own morals. It is incredibly well written and shows the complexity of humanity in the world around. The only flaw I have with the game, which honestly really isn't even a flaw, is the world is not the most interesting. Most of that is because of when the game was made, but I personally enjoy the world of Fallout 3 and 4 better. I also personally like Fallout 4's companions a bit more, but in almost every way, Fallout New Vegas is the definitive Fallout game. If you've not gotten the chance to play this one, please do. On to the next game.
How close calls have we had?
I get into trouble down there. You make every shot count.
I got this.
Hope you know how to use that thing.
I've had some practice.
When I was looking at this list, I was honestly shocked how The Last of Us is only ranked at 6, and honestly, this in the number 5 spot could switch any day. If you've never played or watched The Last of Us, then I envy you. Not because I wish I'd never played it, but because I wish I could experience it for the first time again. It truly tells one of the best stories I've experienced in any media. This is shown in how successful and critically acclaimed the HBO adaptation of the game is. I love the HBO adaptation, and I think it's fantastic and adds incredible things. I just personally still love the game more. Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson as Joel and Ellie are fucking perfect, and their dynamic is one of the most moving and impactful things I've experienced in fiction. The gameplay is tense and strategic, and while I feel the original Last of Us feels a little bit sloppy in its gameplay, the remake really made me love the gameplay. I'm also going to keep this brief because if you haven't played this or the sequel, you need to, and I don't want to spoil anything. The Last of Us is a masterpiece. Moving on. Bye-bye! I fucking love this game. The reason this is number 5 right now is because I'm currently replaying the game and also playing Persona 4 Golden right now, which is also fantastic. And I just pre-ordered Persona 3 Reload, so I'm kind of in the Persona mood at the moment. But no matter the time, I love Persona 5. This game is dripping with style, with each menu, world design, and UI. I love the style so much that it's my phone background and the parts of my soundtrack on my ringtone and my alarm. I have no life. While I love the original Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal is the definitive way to play the game. The palaces are far better paced, and I love the addition of Kasumi. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the combat in this game. I don't think it's bad, but I'm just personally not a fan of it. I thought I just didn't like turn-based combat, but a game higher on the list will prove that point wrong. The gameplay I do love is the social system and meeting up with your friends and managing how you spend your day as a high schooler. The characters are incredible and memorable, though I feel like some of the companions are better in Persona 4. I also wish they incorporated the weather into the game more like Persona 4, but that's really just a personal want. But the best part of Persona 5, and the reason I bought the game, is the music.
When the heart
Its mix of jazz, funk, R&B, and lo-fi beats is astounding. Listening to the soundtrack in class or driving or while cleaning bathrooms at work makes me feel transported into the world of Persona. It brings so much life to any situation. The game just feels cozy to me and helps me bring a sense of peace during stressful times. It also does a fantastic job at balancing dark topics, comedic, and joyful moments. It's not afraid to delve into difficult things, but it handles them well without causing a complete tonal shift. Also, the companions in the game are absolutely incredible and so unique. Honest, the best. And I love this game. And I can't recommend it enough. This was originally intended to be one long video, but my iPhone storage can't handle that, so I'm breaking this up into 2 parts, with this part being the intro and then 10 through 5 in my top 10 list, and then the second part being 4 through 1 and the ending. I haven't made many videos like this, so I'm very sorry if my script writing isn't great and I repeat things a lot. I say truly over and over again, and I'm really sorry about that. And I'm also so sorry if some of my lines come off in a very snarky or rude tone. I did not intend it to be that way, and I'm really sorry that it comes off that way. But I hope you all enjoy. I've put a lot of time and effort into this, but I hope you all enjoy this kind of, sort of, not really at all video essay. Anyway, thank you.